And we are live. Hi, Dee. How are you?
I am fantastic, Blair. If I was any better, I would be you. Okay, hello, somebody.
Child, sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it, but we could talk about that in the real part of the segment. Hi, Dr. O'Neill. It's lovely to see your face as well.
Hello, it's lovely to see both of you.
We are doing this thing, and hello, every beautiful body out there. For those who are not familiar with me, my name is Blair G. Hervey. I'm the founder and CEO of The Corporate Strategist. And for those who are not familiar, and I don't know how that could even be possible, I'm joined by my colorful co host, my bestie, and soul friend of 20 plus years, D'Angelo Crane, in his all white. You look like you going to
It's pink. No, it's pink. It's pink. You can't see the pink in it today but I'm matching you a little bit today with this lighting. But it's all pink. No, yeah, forget it. But anyhow, yeah, um,
I see it. It's
yes.
giving pale pink. I love it. I'm here for it. Is there any occasion?
The occasion is I'm here with two of my favorite DEIBA experts, practitioners, people who have been doing this work. I mean, you don't understand, Blair. Maybe you do. I don't know if I've raved about Tanya since I met her 17 years ago. But I remember walking into that building at our previous company, and one of the first people I met in the first week or two there was Tanya O'Neill, and how I was just in awe of everything that she stands for, everything that she does. I mean, her presentation, you have to see her. We call her, with the group of us, we call her Oprah O'Neill because the way she connects to people, her
Yes.
positivity, and the way she's just passionate about people and learning about people. And I've never heard her say an unkind word about people. She may say, maybe a little bit of, a sidebar conversation, but she never says unkind words because she's always looking for the best in people and working with positive intention. So when I think about people who I go to give me guidance, I go to her as a mentor, and of course, I go to you because you're my soul friend of now whatever many years. No, I'm not saying that because it's dating me. Yes, I met when we were 5. That's fine. So. But needless to say, that's why I was like, let me dress up for these two today because I got two, two people who I love and who have helped me be the person I am today. So yeah, so that's why I'm got a little razzle dazzle today.
Oh, I love that. You're
You
giving us
giving
all the
honor
love. I
real love.
know. And all the accolades. I really appreciate that. Well, everyone. I mean, I should have had you definitely do the introduction for Dr. O'Neill, but I have some cute little words for her. But everyone, welcome to the Black Diva Collective podcast. I know I've already asked Dee, but it's really important that we highlight this particular moment. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
Well, you know what we do here every day on the Black Diva Collective LinkedIn, Facebook Live series is that we do the art of the check-in because we're asking leaders to really go and check in on their employees. And when we say check-in, we want you to go deeper. Don't just do those surface levels. Yo, how you doing today? We really want you to ask the question I always ask: How you feeling? So, Dr. O'Neill, how are you feeling today? How are you living? How is your soul? How's your mind? How's your brain? Share with us.
My soul, my mind, my brain are in a good place, and I will tell you why. I love to hear Blair say, "Hello, every beautiful body." I actually think you should
Oh,
trademark that because every time I hear that, when I listen to the replay of your show, I feel
yeah.
like it's a warm embrace. And
Oh,
so that's why thank you for
good.
making me feel so welcome. But I love that every beautiful body. I just love that.
Well, thank you. And I will put that on my list of intellectual property as well. Thank you.
She has a whole list now. She has a whole list there. That's what bosses do, right? That's what they. I got nothing on my intellectual property. But okay, Blair, Hervey,
Yes.
how you feeling? How's your soul? How's your spirit? How's your light today?
Chad, I've been waiting for you to ask me this question since yesterday. Because listen, I called you last night.
I was at job number 45. But what's going on?
Because I needed you to answer the phone. We won't go into detail, but I will say that yesterday I had a very tough training. And
Mm.
it was a group of folks who were really resistant to the work or receiving that work from me. And I have carried that with me since yesterday. And all I could think about was this space that we've created, that I'm so proud of the work that we're doing every single day consistently. And when I had a day like yesterday, I thought about every single beautiful Black body out there that does this work and doesn't have a space to come to and doesn't have a D'Angelo to call or a Dr. O'Neill to lean on. And that's again the purpose behind what we do. So I am feeling Honestly, a little out of sorts. I'm smiling through it, but I am grateful that we've created a space where people like me, you, and Dr. O'Neill can come express ourselves and get fueled, get refueled, and get a little knowledge while we're at it. So that's how I'm doing today. How are you doing, dear?
I'm good, but I want to lean into something that you said, right? I think that I too have been very inspired by this space because over the last few weeks we've been meeting people that I haven't met before, right? And who, as I put in one of our posts, this is your daily dose to feed your soul and to fuel your career, right? And so I think that's definitely what's needed to get us through some of these more difficult days when we're hitting a wall or hitting people who are giving us resistance. Who do we go to lean to? So you can come here at 3 o'clock, but hopefully what people are doing are 12 o'clock. What people are doing is that they are speaking to our speakers afterwards and connecting with them afterwards to help them along their journey. Because, it's kind of like when you, I akin therapy to going to see the doctor, right? You know how we have to have a physical checkup. Sometimes we
Yes.
need mental checkups, and that's why it's okay to go to therapy. And we need to have a therapist on the show one day. But I also say this today is that sometimes when we need that boost of energy, that boost of the work we're doing is not in vain. It's important, and we still got to keep doing it. We've got to find that one person or two people that we can go to and get that little boost, that little checkup that we need to say, you are okay, this is all right, and you continue to make a difference. And that's just always say I think sometimes we want to boil the ocean and do 20 people, but we just need to do one person a day. So if in the training, if one person has an aha moment in that training or in that learning session, that's all you need. The other 9 people, you just gotta let them be who they're gonna be. But that one person that said, I never thought of this way, you've done your job. And so I hope you take that with you, because I'm sure after the session, someone must have said, aha moment. And hopefully they'll write and listen in at the show. Okay. So I just want to give you that.
Thank
give
you.
you your fuel for the day because I couldn't answer the phone last night. So
Well,
in real time that happened, you all. This in real time. There's no rehearsing this at all. In real time. All right.
well,
Okay.
I
So
appreciate that. I appreciate.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. And I hope everyone else got a little word as well. But I'm really excited to get a word from Dr. Tanya O'Neill today. For those who are not familiar, she is a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging crusader. I Googled that, found that. Dedicated to helping others discover their inner brilliance and use it effectively in their professional and personal lives. She uses her expertise as a strategist, a consultant, a public speaker, a facilitator, and coach to help leaders, teams, organizations, and individual contributors develop the skills and work environments that positively impact people, performance, and productivity. You know I love a good alliteration, that good PPP. So thank you and welcome, Dr. O'Neill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Like I said, I did some quick Googles. We love to do a little research on our folks before they come on site here or come on the show here. But I'd love for you to put it in your own words. Tell us just a little bit more about you, something we can't Google, and what that pivotal moment was that really brought you into this work.
Wow, that is a great way to start off. I actually have been reflecting quite a bit in this past month, just reflecting on how did I get here. I've had a couple of instances where I've been sharing my story with young people. I'm getting ready to celebrate my 40th year of graduating from high school.
Yes.
And yeah, you can do the math.
Jeans?
You can do the math. And I was telling some young folks that I never even, when I got ready to graduate from high school, I had no intention of going to college. And so to hear someone say, Dr. Tanya O'Neill, I still have to sometimes stop and look behind to see who you're talking to. I started out with my family said, yeah, we think you should go to college, but we ain't got no money, child. So your best thing is to get a good job and maybe they'll, figure out a way. And so I think more than anything, I am always walking around very, very cognitive of and appreciative of the shoulders that I stand on. And not 1 minute do I take it for granted, whether I'm taking the subway or I'm walking into a meeting with a whole bunch of people who look nothing like me. Whatever that is, it's like I'm carrying my tribe with me And I'm so grateful for that tribe. And I'm so grateful that you all are part of that tribe that I carry into all the different spaces.
Ooh, now that felt like a warm hug, like coffee at 10 p.m. I like that. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you both for allowing me to share in a little part of this journey as well. But I'm ready to get straight into this topic, mainly off the back of yesterday's experience.
Okay, you ready?
Yes. So tee us up.
Yeah, so today we're talking about implementing DEIB into your business strategy. And yesterday we talked about this a little bit. I remember, I don't know what year it is, but maybe it was 2017, 2018, and there was this phenomenal singer on Instagram who sung about patty pies. And instantly, within a week, patty pies sold out at Walmart stores. And Walmart has now grown their selection of patty products within their store. And we think about intentional business strategies, that's what we're asking for, right? We're talking about today that we talked about this yesterday, Blair and I, that your in diversity and inclusion and equity business strategy should not exist just within the DEIB team. Okay, it needs to exist throughout the organization. And organizations who are getting it right, they're seeing some successes. And I'm going to do. Blair loves to find articles, so today I found my article, Blair, and it's the 8 reasons why diversity and inclusion are essential to business success. It's from Forbes, and the 8 reasons they named are greater innovation and creativity. Diversity provides a range of skills. Business will be boosted, as you saw with Petty Pies. Happier employees. We're seeing all the articles that when organizations invest in diversity strategies, really belonging strategies, they have increased engagement scores, which increase productivity, increase advocacy. And that's the next thing, increase productivity. You really do understand your variety of customers, right? When you think about how to market, how to brand, how to get people to come into your stores, you do this, Blair. We love Target. But when Kalana Barfield, your favorite designer, style influencer, has a collection at Target, you go there and you buy the clothing there. So they're definitely, because they're bringing diversity in, they're understanding their customers more. The other 2 things was there's more talent to choose from because you're not limited on just who you know. You're broadening your brush on who you don't know, and higher revenue. And once again, we're seeing that with several companies I named before. So today, Tanya, I'm just going to call you Tanya. I know we had to be official with Dr. O'Neill, but I know you were Tanya, okay? I know you were Tanya. Okay, I love you as Tanya. I mean, I call you Dr. O'Neill when we need to, but today you're going to be Tanya. Tanya, talk to us. I just named several things about it, but why is this subject even important? Why should we be focusing on how do we infuse this into our business strategies? Why should we even be having this conversation today or working on this?
Thank you so much for asking that question. And this has been something that has always been near and dear to my heart. I mean, from the start of my transition from being a nurse to going into learning and development and then to leadership development, I've always thought that they should go hand in hand. Business strategy and inclusion, diversity, equity, belonging should always go hand in hand. I ran across a quote that talked about how diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are not a thing, like a program or an office or a title, right? It doesn't rest on like a single person or a single initiative or a single place. And I think that's where we have missed the point. And when I say we, I'm talking about organizations and businesses as a whole have really, really missed the point. 2020 happened. Mr. Floyd was murdered right before our eyes. Everybody and their mama ran out and hired a chief diversity officer and put up these wonderful, wonderful statements of we stand by Black Lives Matter, yada, yada, yada. Well, here it is, 2023. What has changed? What has changed? Where are we at? And I think, again, it goes back to because we, and when I say we, diversity, equity, inclusion is always, it seems to be that thing that's over here on the shelf, and something happens, time to pull it off the shelf and dust it off, where it should have been there all along. It should have been at the beginning when we sit down in our C-suites and talk about what's the strategy, what's our 4-year plan, what are we focusing on for business outcomes. DEI should always be at the table. We should be looking at how are we embracing not only just diversity of how we look and how we sound, how are we embracing diversity of people thinking differently from us? How are we embracing people solving problems differently from the way they're usually solved? How are we embracing people maybe showing up differently and doing the work in a different manner, right? So how are we embracing that? When we look around, and let's say we have diversity. Several years ago, I had the pleasure of working for a very, very, very prestigious academic institution. And I can remember that every time I would step on campus, and I shared this with my boss, my director. I said, every time I step on this campus, I said, and it could be my imposter syndrome trying to get under my skin, but every time I step on this campus, I look around and I see this beautiful tapestry of people from all the corners of the earth. And I'm serious about that. And here they are. But if I interviewed them, I wonder if they would feel like they're actually connected to one another and to this prestigious academic institution. And that's the difference. That is the other piece is we have fallen into this trap of thinking that inclusion will follow diversity, when maybe it's the other way around. Diversity will follow inclusion. And so why is it important? It is important because the world has changed. And again, going back to Dee, to your analogy about catering to prospective customers, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with our organizations. If we want to move forward and be better and bigger and brighter, then we've got to cast our nets much wider, right? And so we've got to do things like look at pay analysis, right? So, I'm tired of people just going out and saying, well, I'm gonna just hire one of them and hire one of them and hire one of them and look, we good. That doesn't work. I want to see people do some real things like conducting some pay analysis as a first step, right? Taking a look and making sure that equitably everybody in the organization is being paid equitably, right? Are there opportunities that are accessible to all employees? That's a good start. I ran across something from PayScale where they did a survey about maybe 3 years ago. And the survey found that Black men earn 87 cents for every dollar earned by a white man, and Latino men earned 91 cents. And then we got to the gender pay gap, where it's even wider, with women earning 84% of what men earned. And according to the Pew Research, it actually would take an extra 42 days of work for women to earn what a man did in 2020.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other piece of that is I'm hearing this same sad song. Oh, we just can't find diverse talent. Really? And that's a big pushback. It's like, well, we'd hire them, but we can't find them. And so what I say to people is, maybe if you're looking for something different, you need to stop looking in the same place.
True.
You gotta look some other place. That means you're gonna have to dig a little bit harder. And again, cast your net out a little bit wider. And then another piece of that is, I know that there are some organizations out there now who are kind of downplaying resource groups and not realizing that there is a wealth of information inside of resource groups. And not only do resource groups actually cultivate a culture of inclusion, if they're done correctly. Because one of the questions I do ask when I was an external consultant for companies, I asked them, are you using the resource groups for inclusion or are you using them for exclusion?
Mm.
And so,
there's some great thoughts.
Yeah, so take a really good look at that. And then when you have those resource groups, how are you welcoming allies? And then how are you helping allies turn into accomplices? Because at the end of the day, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. I want an ally who's willing to turn into an accomplice and ride with me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you have, that was a little ebook. So you talk about my intellectual property. You should be typing that up. You can sell that, and then, feed it back to us for sure. I mean, I heard a couple of great things, well, several great things in there that we could definitely take away. In that analogy, when you're talking about inclusion and making sure that diverse folks have what they need, I love thinking about like a garden. I bought my house, I think it's been about 2 years ago, and I remember praying for a home with a garden. I just wanted a small garden. I wanted to grow some cabbage, some broccoli, some green beans, something like that. I have 25 different species on my property that I know nothing, I don't know how to do anything with. All I know is that the Portland rain, hopefully it'll take care of it. But what I've seen is my roses aren't growing. What I've seen is there are areas that are overgrown. What I've seen is there are areas that are muddy. And that reminds me again, we can have all this diversity. We can wish for this diversity. But if we don't cultivate the soil, and if we don't know exactly what each one of those plants needs, then someone is either going to be overwatered or overfed or underwatered or overfed or underfed. So those are things to consider as well. I love all of the tips that you gave us as far as, thinking about, allies and accomplices and, making sure they're thinking about things from the start, whether it's pay or employee resource groups. What can we do as DEI consultants as we are in an organization when we're hired to ensure that we're embedded in the organization? So as an example, I think about 2020, and like you said, we always go back to the killing of George Floyd. And then, of course, there were other murders that we saw and we recognized that we needed to put some alarm around and make some statements about. People were raising their hands for motivational speaking and trainings and these one-off moments. And we're either raising our hands or we're still being hired for those. But how can we as consultants say, no, this is what you actually need?
Yeah.
This is the series that you need. What would you recommend to us as professionals?
And so I'm going to say something that is maybe a little risky, but it's what I started asking, especially my time as an external consultant for large organizations, is they wanted us to come in and they wanted us to do all this training and yada, yada, yada. And so one of the first things that I finally found my courage to start asking was, just lay it out straight for me. Are you asking me to do this just so you can say you did something? Or are you asking me to do this because you're serious about change, that you're serious about changing behaviors? And then the second question is, what's your desired outcome? As simple as that. What's your desired outcome and how will you know you've been successful?
What does good look like?
Right? Exactly. Because I was very honest and I'm still am. I'm going to approach work very, very differently if you're saying, listen, we just need somebody to come here, do a few trainings so we can say everybody was trained, okay? Versus, nope, we're looking for real change. We realize there are some challenges here and we need to take a new direction, okay? And so I think it's up to us as consultants and experts in the field of DEI to take a risk and push the envelope and ask for that commitment and hold people's feet to the fire. And I think there's a way you can do that respectfully. And when you see things going left when they should be going right, have the courage to rein people back in and say, hey, remember when we had these discussions and you talked about your commitment and you talked about your desired outcome and you talked about how we're going to measure success? We're kind of going left when we should be going right.
Yes. Establish those commitments up front. There's that quote out there that says culture eats strategy for breakfast, but truly it's culture strategy. That's what is needed. You need both together to have a plan.
Yeah.
But thank you for that.
No, thank you for that question.
Tanya, tell me, I'm just going to be a little on topic, a little off topic, a little bit. When this work gets laboring, how do you re-energize yourself?
Oh, and it does. It wears on you. It really does. And I think the greatest thing for me, number one, is my faith. And I will just kind of sit back and think about how I got to where I am. And obviously I couldn't have done this without my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And the other thing is my tribe, right? So leaning on people like you and Blair, and in my extended family and friends, and being able to vent my frustrations to them. And that's how I do it.
Love it. Well, I want to make sure y'all have some tactical things, some extra tactical things, because, Tanya, you did a great job of sharing some things holistically that we could be looking at. But when you're thinking about implementing DEI, and I would love if you had some to add, a couple of things to consider, of course, like Dr. O'Neill already said, is embrace the power of ERGs or employee resource groups. Also prioritize women's development. I know that you said look at pay as well, seek buy-in from senior leaders, and a couple of things that honestly that I learned over my time with the group that I was telling you all about is, if you can, include people in the process, the people that are going to be learning, and make sure that there's an upfront commitment, right? Because if they have to just go to another course, or they have to sit in another class and they have not opted in for that, they may not be as committed as those who are saying, I need this and I understand the why. So keep those things in mind as well. Good. Now,
just something to add to that. When I think about women development and people, Black people, people of color development, when we think about underrepresented populations, I want to tell organizations also to make sure you have some measurements around that. Because when I see organizations, they say, we're going to have a women development. Well, what is the outcomes? What is happening to those women after they go through these vigorous development programs? Or people, you're underrepresented. You say, go through all these development programs, and still they're not yielding the benefits of those programs that other people in the organization are. So you need to have some tangible outcomes that directly go back to your DEI strategy. So it goes back to every person within the organization needs to have the lens of how is this impacting our DEIBA strategy within the organization. So we want to move women forward. It's not just development, it's also tracking what that development does for them within the organization, and is it working?
Well said.
And I'm just going to jump in and add one more thing.
Do it.
For all organizations, be clear on equality versus equity.
Ooh,
be really, really clear. This is also like a little bit of a thorn in my side, is to say, well, everyone here has an equal opportunity. And that may be so, but are you treating everybody equitably? Equitably is about, are you meeting people where they are? Quick note. I have brilliant young people in my family, as you two do also, but I have someone who actually just got accepted to all these wonderful universities. He's going to be a senior. He is a senior graduating high school this year. And one of the universities that he got accepted to, you had to have like all the grades and the extracurricular activity and all of that. They didn't offer him any money. So equally, yes, but equitably, the tuition is $91,000 a year. I'm not kidding.
A year?
So yes, he had an equal opportunity to be accepted.
Right.
I did the work. But
now I'm here.
Where are my parents getting $91,000 a year from?
Come on, somebody. We deserve peace and pay.
Peace and pay.
Peace and pay all day. Goodness gracious. Well, that was a mic dropper. We definitely appreciate you, but I have to ask you a couple of cute little questions. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been doing the rapid fire mainly because we want to get an opportunity to know you, but also it's fun. It's also an opportunity to leave us on a high note after all the things that we've talked about. And I'll just say that y'all have refueled me. So thank you. I appreciate you. Quick question. Grits. Cheese or sugar?
Cheese.
The blasphemy. D'Angelo?
No, I'm going to leave it right there. I've talked enough about, yes, I'm going to leave it right there because that's always good. That's a solid question. I want to give my shout out of the day to an ally, someone who brought Tanya and I together, and that is Amy Ryan, who is one of our dearest friends and leaders that we first worked for. And like I said, she is the true epitome of an ally. So if you ever watch this, or if you're watching, Amy, we love you and appreciate you. All right, Blair, back to you.
And we need Amy on the show.
We do.
Yes.
Amy is a connector. Amy is an ally. We need Amy here.
Absolutely.
So it's up to you. We are passing it back to you, Amy, and to everyone out there. If you all know anyone who would be a great fit for this show, please, please, please have them reach out to me or D'Angelo, either on Instagram, as you can see bottom right. Dr. Tanya O'Neill, where can people reach you as well?
Oh, I am all on LinkedIn is usually where I hang out, and you can just Google Dr. Tanya O'Neill and you'll see my face pop up.
Fantastic.
Don't find her on Instagram because she has no pictures. I tagged her. She has no pictures. So we need to give you one picture. Do you know your login? We need to get you at least one picture up there. Okay, just one picture.
Somebody screenshot this right now.
Yeah, I was like, she can even put today. She can even just put today's image up, but she has nothing on there. That's why I said she probably doesn't know her login anymore. But we're gonna help her, Jesus. We're gonna help her.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you both for joining. Thank you all for joining us. We love seeing you. We love talking with each and every one of you all and sharing this information. We will see you tomorrow and every single day at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Black DEIBA Collective. Bye, y'all.
Oh, there we go. Bye.
Bye.